All right, listen up, fam. This high school is basically a training camp for future criminals. We're talking sleeping in class, brawling in the hallways, even the teachers are too scared to step in. Isn't this place a total nightmare for studying? But get a load of our boy. He looks like a total nerd with those glasses, but he's actually a top-tier fighter who settles arguments with his fists. And his ultimate goal for being here? To get into college. So the story kicks off 2 days ago. Some punks got themselves beat up, and just look at the shocked faces on these students. You could tell this wasn't just some random brawl. Meanwhile, the new teacher is completely out of the loop, trying to ask about the school's notorious gang, Pale White. Dude, everyone around her is freaking out, telling her to shut it. They're like, if you ask about that kid, Hamel Pie, you might actually die. And guess what? This teacher's got guts. She marches straight to the vice principal to confront him. The moment she mentions the gang, the VP totally loses his cool. He grabs her, yelling about how there are no bad kids here and telling her not to spread rumors. Yeah, not suspicious at all, buddy. Right then, we find this orange-haired kid, Hyena Lee, all beaten up and trembling with fear. This blonde girl immediately accuses him of doing Hamel's dirty work. He tries to bolt, but look who it is. Our boy Gammon steps in and stops him in his tracks. The problem with these delinquent kids is, even if you report them and they go to juvie, they come out the same. While everyone's hesitating, one of the teachers, Ms. Lee, makes up her mind. Look at her, marching straight to the police station. She's not letting this go. The teacher catches up to another student involved, Hoon Jae. The second she mentions reporting him, the kid just collapses, begging and pleading not to tell his father, who would apparently kill him. Man, it's a mix of pathetic and kind of sad. Gammon, meanwhile, is doing his own thing, striking a deal for info. And get this, it turns out Hyanu, the orange-haired kid, used to be the top student in his entire school. But with no parents around, he eventually gave up on his studies for his sister, Jaiwoo. There's way more to this story. That's right, Hyanu has a twin sister, and she's at Yusung too. They grew up in an orphanage, but it shut down, and they were kicked out with barely any money. They came to this school of future criminals just to survive. And his sister Jaiwoo? She's a firecracker, a reckless fighter. So that's the real reason Hyanu gave up studying. He started working odd jobs to make money so his sister could stay in school. My God, what a brother. He basically sacrificed his own future for hers, taking the hardest path possible. But life's not easy for an underage kid trying to make ends meet. He's delivering food, working at arcades, and constantly getting scammed out of his hard-earned cash. And then you get this greeting, welcome to hell. This place is brutal. And that's when the blue-haired dude, Hamel, shows up and offers him friendship. The catch? To get into his crew, Hyanu had to fight in over 50 brawls in a single month. Just like that, a top student became a goon. The teacher finally puts the pieces together. Hyanu got scammed and had a huge fight with his sister over it. Gammon fills the blonde girl in on the whole tragic backstory, and she's floored. But while they're talking, things go from bad to worse. Someone, desperate to stop her from going to the cops, actually stabs her. Absolute chaos erupts in the hallway. The one with the knife is Hyanu. He's been pushed completely over the edge. But then, Ms. Lee, the teacher from before, appears on the scene. There's blood on her clothes, and she's giving Hanwell a death stare. Whoa, wait a minute. This teacher is way more involved than she let on. Before anyone can react, the police swarm the stairwell. Everyone's stunned. Who called them? Hanwell gets cornered by a mysterious guy. And it turns out Ms. Lee is actually Han-kyung, the woman who's been helping Gammon all along. She orchestrated this whole thing. This was a setup. Image failed to load, skipping. With the cops here, it's game over. The lead detective calls out Hamel by name. Clearly, they were expected. Han-kyung Lee, aka the teacher, admits it. She planned all this to help create a better learning environment for Gammon. Damn, talk about having friends in high places. The school is in total chaos. Some student council goon is trying to drag someone away, but then the principal himself shows up. Look at the terror on everyone's faces. This principal is clearly not someone you mess with. Hyanu, the kid who did the stabbing, is in shock. He keeps mumbling, I stabbed someone, his mind is completely blank. The other students see the blood and start to panic. This is the price of violence. One moment of rage ruins multiple lives. Flashback to a confrontation between Hyanu and some white-haired dude. He's accusing the guy of trying to scam him with a gambling site and involving his sister. Whoa, the plot thickens. It seems Hyanu was systematically pushed into a corner. Hyanu's inner monologue is just pure despair. He feels like he's been tainted, that his life is already over. And that masked figure, like a demon on his shoulder, keeps whispering, you were destined to fail anyway. This is just heartbreaking. But in his darkest moment, Han-kyung, the teacher, reaches out to him. She holds his face, reminding him of her promise to help him quit smoking. She's showing him that he's not alone, that someone still believes in him. But it's too late. Hyunwoo screams, "Change, my ass," completely convinced he's headed for juvie. But before he can even finish, a blur of motion slams into him, knocking him flat on his ass. That's right, it's our boy Gammon. He steps in and tells Hyunwoo, being defeated by another person isn't shameful. Classic Gammon, showing up at the perfect moment to drop some wisdom while literally knocking sense into people. And here we get a flashback revealing that Han-kyung, the teacher, is an old acquaintance of Gammon's. Our boy is absolutely stunned to find out she's now a teacher at his school. What a small world. Turns out they knew each other back in the day. Her dream was always to become a teacher who could help kids who were going through a hard time. Gammon, being Gammon, promised he'd help her. Look at them now, meeting again in the one place she's needed most. The foreshadowing is real. Back in the present, Han-kyung is giving Gammon a pep talk about changing the school for the better. But mid-sentence, she gets sucker punched from behind and goes down. Gammon watches his friend get attacked, and that's it. He's officially pissed. Full protagonist mode activated. After the incident, Hyunwoo is on the ground, sobbing. The troublemakers are forced to apologize. Later at the hospital, Han-kyung wakes up, and the very first thing she asks about is the study group. Gammon reassures her, telling her not to worry. He's got this. The next day, everyone thinks Hamel got arrested. But surprise, he strolls into the classroom like nothing ever happened. Gammon and his crew are absolutely dumbfounded. How is this possible? Look at him, all dressed up in a suit, cool as a cucumber. This guy's connections must be insane to just walk out of the police station like that. Gammon has just met his first real boss-level threat. Meanwhile, Hyunwoo's sister, Jaewoo, is on the warpath. She goes to the Citizens Division demanding answers about her brother, but they just tell her to go home and wait. Well, the hot-headed Jaewoo wasn't having any of that and immediately starts a fight. Like brother, like sister. Jaewoo makes a bold declaration. She's going to get a scholarship at this hellhole of a school to prove everyone wrong. Her friend, Hee-won, is right there cheering her on, telling her she can do it. Not gonna lie, their friendship is pretty wholesome. Jaewoo thought her best friend was transferring, but due to a mix-up with her dad's job, the transfer is off. Now they get to stick together and take on the school. Look at the confused look on Jaewoo's face. It's hilarious. Back with the study group, they're desperate for new members, even considering just grabbing random people in the hallway to sign up. At the same time, the news about Hamel being released is spreading, and the tension is ramping up again. Just as Gammon is stressing about the group, Hamel himself shows up and says he wants to join. Gammon is completely frozen. What kind of mind game is this? This is like a wolf asking to join the sheep's club. His friends are freaking out, begging Gammon not to let him in. But Hamel just flips it around, telling Gammon he's making things difficult for himself, and then just leaves. Dude is a master manipulator, seriously. And, of course, trouble follows immediately. A brick comes flying through the window and hits one of the study group members. This is a clear warning. Stick with Gammon, and you're going to get hurt. The brick was thrown by an upperclassman. Turns out, the school has an unwritten rule. Different grades don't fight each other. Gammon's actions have broken that rule, and now the seniors are coming to collect. Gammon is now public enemy number one, with everyone calling him the monster. And to top it off, the official number one freshman, Tae Kong, has just challenged him to a fight. Our boy just wants to study, but he keeps ending up as the top fighter. You gotta love it. The entire school is hyped for the Gammon versus Tae Kong showdown to decide who's the true top dog of the freshmen. In the crowd, another kid, a redhead named Lee Jun, ranked 17th, looks conflicted. Is he going to be the next challenger? Unexpectedly, Lee Jun wasn't looking for a fight. He was trying to join the study group. But the moment he hands in his application, Taeo's cronies tear it to shreds and threaten anyone who even touches it. Just as they say that, a figure comes flying down from above. Judging by the shocked faces on all our main characters, you know this is big. Who just dropped from the sky? Are they here to save the day or to make things even worse? Cut to a fight scene. It's Lee Jun. He just won a tough battle, moving his rank up from 19th to 18th. He's panting, savoring the feeling of victory. This kid is definitely a battle junkie. His inner monologue reveals a past filled with defeat. That's why he's so obsessed with winning now. He's sworn to defeat everyone and become the strongest. And to get stronger, Lee Jun is willing to do some crazy stuff. Look at him, jumping straight off the second floor to ambush an opponent. The other students are stunned, calling him a wild bastard. It turns out this whole reckless display was to get Gammon's attention. He thinks the study group is some kind of elite fight club Gammon created to train his crew. The misunderstanding is hilarious. Everyone's analyzing Jun's fighting style, saying he's tough but reckless. They even found his application form where under future goals, he wrote, "We'll take over Yusung High." This kid has a serious case of Chinibyu. And, right on cue, the bully who tore up the application shows up. He sees Gammon holding the scraps and immediately picks a fight, knocking his glasses off. He's basically begging our boy to unleash. Glasses off, power level over 9,000. Gammon unleashes a flawless combo, taking the guy down with clean, efficient strikes. That's the difference in power. They're not even in the same league. But by making a move, Gammon has probably just triggered something much bigger. Jun witnessed the whole thing, and now he's even more in awe of Gammon's strength. Now, but the whole school knows just how strong the #1 freshman Gammon is. Jun follows him into the classroom like a lost puppy, and even the teacher just assumes Gammon's goal is to conquer the school with his fists. This misunderstanding is getting epic. Gammon tries to explain the study group isn't for fighting, but Jun is convinced it is and challenges him to a fight so he can learn. Gammon looks at him like he's crazy, but then slides the door open again, startling Jun. "You want to learn? Fine." Gammon slams a huge stack of workbooks on the desk and tells him to finish them. Jun, completely misinterpreting, immediately declares Gammon his master and vows to train hard. Gammon's just like, "Dude, I just want you to do your homework." While Jun is actually studying, a man in a black suit walks in. He introduces himself as the head scout for the YB family, a major gang. He's here to recruit Gammon. Great, you get one disciple, and suddenly the mob comes knocking. The scout assumes Gammon became the #1 freshman as a trial to join their gang. Of course, Gammon has zero interest in fighting. His reputation as a fighting god is causing him nothing but trouble. At the critical moment, his new disciple, Jun, steps up to confront the gang members. Is he trying to protect his master? Or is he just trying to prove himself? The tension skyrockets. Turns out, Jun actually went with the gang, thinking it was a shortcut to getting stronger. It doesn't take long for him to end up kneeling before one of their leaders. "Kid, you chose the wrong path." Back at school, Gammon's friends realize Jun is missing. The messy desk with spilled cans and papers suggests something went down. Little do they know, Jun has just walked straight into the lion's den. Image failed to load, skipping. Jun faces his first test to join the gang, a 3-on-1 fight against other prospects. And the masked head scout, Django O, is watching from the sidelines. The test is simple, grab the car keys. But his opponents are no joke. One calls himself a genius villain, and the other is known for extreme violence. This recruitment test is basically set to hell mode. It's Jun's first time fighting 3 people at once, and he's totally overwhelmed. Meanwhile, a gang leader is feeding him a cynical speech about how studying is useless and only money and power matter. This is straight-up brainwashing, and the naive Jun seems to fall for it. He roars, believing this is his only path to success, and charges in recklessly. The result was predictable. Jun gets absolutely demolished by the trio. They mock him, saying kids from Yusung High are all talk. Beaten and exhausted, Jun gets his first real taste of the brutal world he tried to enter. The head scout approaches and reveals he knew Gammon's friends were eavesdropping the whole time. He lectures Jun, telling him you can't let emotions get the best of you in their line of work. Then the scout coldly announces you failed and brings his club down on him. The whole test was a sham. They were just toying with him from the start. Just as Jun is about to be beaten senseless, a familiar voice cuts through the air. It's our boy Gammon, flanked by his study group members. He scoffs at the gangsters. "You call yourselves thugs? The king is here to clean house and bring his disciple back." And what's Gammon holding? Not a weapon, but Jun's test paper with a big fat 24 on it. He glares at the gang members as he approaches. He's not here for a turf war. He's here to drag his student back for extra lessons. Now, that is how our boy rolls. Meanwhile, the rest of the study group finally pulls up to the sketchy recruitment site. They're all freaking out, thinking our boy Gammon is about to willingly join a gang. But deep down, they know something else has to be going on. Manhwa pulls out the evidence, Gammon's test paper. A measly 24 points, but what matters is that he diligently tried to solve every question instead of guessing. There's no way he would just throw away his dream. As they piece it together, the head recruiter steps in, but our boy is already there to confront him, stick in hand. The recruiter scoffs, mocking their loyalty. You good-for-nothing sure are loyal to one another. But our girl Hank Young ain't having any of it. She claps back hard. You're a good-for-nothing thug too, mister. Aren't you embarrassed? The burn is real, but these gangsters are just amused, thinking these kids have no idea who they're messing with. Talk is cheap. The recruiter decides to make an example out of Jun, landing a brutal kick right to his gut. He's trying to use June as leverage to get Gammon to back down. Look at Hankyong's face. She's terrified. These guys are playing for keeps. The goons swarm in, try to overpower the entire study group. Our boys try to rush in to help, but they're immediately cut off. It's absolute chaos, and they're seriously outnumbered. Things are looking grim. Meanwhile, one of the blonde thugs starts running his mouth at Sienhua, talking trash about her in the school. But she stands her ground, not backing down an inch. He gets pissed and lashes out with a kick, sending them both tumbling to the ground. And that's the final straw. Gammon goes into full-on beast mode. He's no longer just the nerdy tutor. He's the apex predator of Yusung High. He takes down a guy with a single, clean kick, his eyes blazing as he asks, "Where are you going?" The guy with the pipe sees his chance, screaming, "Weapons are my specialty," as he swings wildly at Gammon. Our boy gets knocked down, but he's right back up, his focus sharpened. He knows if he takes a direct hit from that thing, it's game over. But Gammon is just too quick, too agile. He effortlessly dodges the heavy, clumsy swings. It's a total mismatch of speed, power, and technique. Every move the thug makes is like watching a slow-motion train wreck, completely predictable to our boy. After easily dispatching the lackey, Gammon's attention snaps back to the main recruiter. He picks up the test paper, his voice dripping with ice. "Your punches seemed quite impressive earlier." The suit's expression darkens as he flicks open a switchblade. Uh-oh, he's bringing a knife to a Gammon fight. The red-headed recruiter is feeling confident, boasting. The one wielding a knife is the winner. But Gammon remains unfazed. Using the test paper as a shield, he calmly declares, "Knowledge is stronger than weapons." In the next instant, he uses the paper to block the guy's vision and lands a perfect strike. Is this what happens when a scholar gets serious? Gammon unleashes a fluid, devastating combo, leaving the thug completely helpless. Every punch is precise, powerful, and absolutely brutal, shattering his arrogant smirk into a million pieces. Gammon grabs the guy's face, throwing his own words back at him. "What were you saying about knowledge?" The sheer pressure is suffocating. The recruiter who was acting so tough just moments ago is now completely petrified. But just then, a higher-up arrives on the scene. He kicks Gammon away, sneering, "We've been playing along with you high school twerks, but it seems like you're looking down on us." The vibe from this new guy is completely different. This is the real deal. Seeing Gammon get hit, his buddy loses it and charges in screaming. But the new suit effortlessly takes him down with a single, powerful kick. This guy's on another level. His movements are too fast to even track. The suit lights up a cigarette, fully entering his show-off mode. He casually dodges attacks while taunting them. "That's why I'm quite fond of you Yusung High brats. But there's always a loser every time." He's just toying with them, treating this whole thing like a game. Gammon spots an opening while the guy is distracted by a cigarette and launches a surprise attack. But the suit saw it coming a mile away, countering with a swift kick. "You're a trickster type," he remarks. It seems he's already figured out Gammon's fighting style. The tide of the battle turns drastically. One by one, the study group members are taken down. The suit stands over one of them, stepping on his leg and mocking their loyalty. "That's the last straw. We're not a gang," he yells, throwing off his jacket, ready to go all out. The suit just laughs harder. "A study group? How absurd." "So, jackets off means we're getting serious now, does it?" Meanwhile, back at the Incheon Central Police Station, an officer named Hwangdu Kyoan is having a massive headache over these very kids. He's in the Women and Juvenile Affairs Department, which means he's constantly cleaning up the messes of high schoolers. Turns out the police have had their eye on this white lead gang for a while. Their main target is the leader's son, but they can't make a move without solid evidence. And Officer Huang seems to have a particular interest in these students. And speak of the devil, who shows up at the police station, Jaiwoo and Hankyong. The moment Officer Huang sees their Yusung High uniforms, he knows exactly what this is about. Looks like the tides might be about to turn. Cutting back to the fight, Gammon is still locked in combat with the suit. Even though the guy calls his blows predictable, our boy isn't giving up. He's constantly searching for an opening, a chance to strike back. Back with June, he's drowning in resentment. He remembers a promise he made with his so-called friend to get stronger together so no one would look down on them. But the harsh reality is that his rival never once considered him an equal. That crushing feeling of being in a one-sided rivalry is eating June alive. And back on the battlefield, the rest of the study group is feeling that same sense of powerlessness against an overwhelmingly strong foe. June snaps back to reality. He was trying to get to Gammon, but got ambushed with an iron pipe. The attacker is none other than the suit, who mocks June's predictable moves before knocking him senseless with a single punch. The suit starts wailing on June, completely one-sided. He laughs at his confidence, toying with him using pure, overwhelming strength. June can't even land a hit. He's just a punching bag. In a quick flashback, the suit recalls a conversation with Gammon. He told him that what truly makes people stronger is passion, and that Gammon's motivation to get stronger was the desire to defeat him. He's trying to get inside our boy's head. Suddenly, a car comes screeching towards them, about to plow right into June and the suit. They both look up in absolute terror. This insane development catches everyone completely off guard. The driver is one of the thugs Gammon beat earlier, back for revenge. But he's stopped by a mysterious new character who calls Gammon a man-child. This guy claims he's the one who brought Gammon here, using him as bait to draw out someone from the White League gang. It looks like Gammon and this mysterious newcomer know each other, and they immediately start throwing hands. Their fight is on a whole different level, a blur of speed and power that leaves everyone else stunned. The mysterious guy grabs Gammon's collar, trying to toss him, but our boy reacts in a flash. They end up grappling and tumbling to the ground together. This fight feels less like a death match and more like a rough reunion between old acquaintances. The car screeches to a halt just in time. The passengers are furious, thinking the driver went crazy. The study group members are just relieved to be alive. Turns out, this whole near-death experience was part of the mysterious guy's plan. This long-haired dude is also part of the White League gang. He not only knows Gammon, but is actively trying to recruit him, even taunting him 4 eyes. Do you want to try out lag life? Look at Gammon, he's just so done with all of this drama. And the plot thickens. Turns out this long-haired guy was once a member of the study group. Hank Young doesn't hesitate to call him out. As he leaves, he ominously says, "I'll remember you." There's clearly some hidden history between him and the crew. But he's not done dropping bombshells. He turns to another member of the study group and exposes a dark secret. Your mom was brutally murdered, and it's okay for you to stay put and study like that. The scene then cuts to Gammon, who calmly states, "My mom died." The person whose past was just dragged into the light was Gammon himself. The long-haired guy's words cut deep, and you can see the pain on Gammon's face as he struggles to breathe. Revenge or studying? He's being forced to confront an impossible choice. Meanwhile, Jaiwoo's instincts kick in. He senses something is wrong and immediately hops on his motorcycle, speeding off. He's chasing a taxi that just left, suspecting the passenger might be connected to Gammon's mother's death. A thrilling chase scene unfolds across the city. Jaiwoo is hot on their tail, but the heavy traffic makes it nearly impossible to keep up. In the end, despite his best efforts, he loses them. But just when he thinks it's over, he runs into a new problem. A massive, muscular dude blocks his path. He's here for revenge on behalf of someone Jaiwoo apparently beat up earlier. Looks like Jaiwoo's got his own can of worms to deal with now. Back with Gammon, he watches his friends leave, lost in thought. Meanwhile, in a nearby alley, the musclehead's buddy is threatening another student with a weapon. The nights at Yusung High are never, ever quiet. Flashing back, we learn this muscle-bound guy has his own backstory. He was ostracized and betrayed by his friends after a fight, which made him completely cynical about things like friendship and loyalty. He seems to be connected to the White Lead gang and is searching for the son of a dead teacher, who is almost certainly Gammon. His friends try to calm him down, but he's too consumed by his quest for revenge to listen. His past is filled with violence and betrayal, getting beaten to a pulp, being cut off by his friends. These experiences warped him into the person he is today. He lives by a simple, brutal philosophy. The one who gets hit is the fool. And now, he's facing off against Jaiwoo, the tension between them thick enough to cut with a knife. The musclehead sees the nervousness in Jaiwoo's eyes and starts taunting him. A big fight is about to go down. Jaiwoo makes the first move, throwing a punch, but the big guy blocks it with ease, casually critiquing him. "Good posture, and you have good strength. You just need to bulk up a little more." This dude isn't just strong, he's a skilled and experienced fighter. The musclehead slips on some brass knuckles and sends Jaiwoo flying with a single punch. Jaiwoo hits the ground hard. He's completely outmatched. But the big guy is surprised. He can't believe Jaiwoo is even trying to get up after a hit like that. He might have underestimated these Yusung kids. And just then, Gammon appears. He looks down on the musclehead from above, his voice ice cold. "Are you looking for the person who killed my mother?" The big guy finally realizes that the very person he's been hunting has just walked right up to him. Gammon is absolutely enraged, charging in and grappling with the big guy. He screams, demanding to know what the hell he's doing, but the musclehead just mocks him, saying he's gone mad now that his back is against the wall. Thinking on his feet, Gammon uses a can lid as a makeshift weapon, managing to cut the guy. He follows up with a kick to the head, taunting, "At least your head isn't filled with muscles." He tries to make a getaway on his bike, but his keys are gone. It turns out this entire confrontation was a setup. A mysterious figure has been watching from the shadows. It seems he's an undercover agent who has been working as a spy for a month, all to investigate the White Lead gang. This spy grabs a Yusung High student, pressing him for information about a secret organization called a Fraxia. It's clear that there's way more going on inside this school than anyone realizes. Meanwhile, the chaos our boy Gammon stirred up has attracted the cops. The vibe is a little tense, with one of the girls immediately complaining about cigarette smoke. But things get serious quick as they start talking about chasing people off campus and driving without a license. This could get messy. Back on campus, the rumor mill is in full swing. Everyone's talking about it. Did a bunch of high school kids really take down a professional gangster? It sounds impossible, and nobody can quite believe it. The study group is officially famous, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. Cut to the scene of the crime, and the guy Gammon took down is getting cuffed. Turns out he's one of the most vicious members of the White Lead gang. And there's that undercover cop again, having a chat with our crew. He even calls one of them Red Pepper Paste. Seems like he's been watching them for a while. But this cop isn't here to make friends. He lays down the law, telling Gammon and Jaiwoo he has every right to arrest them. Our hot-headed Jaiwoo immediately tries to throw hands, but gets held back. The cop is trying to make a point. Violence isn't always the answer. Instead of cuffing them, though, he does something unexpected. He gives them a lecture, then pulls out his badge and contact info, telling them to call him if they're ever in real trouble. It looks like he sees something special in Gammon, maybe a potential asset. As the police drive off, the cop leaves them with a cryptic piece of advice. One day, you'll need the harsh fist of a civil servant. Then, in the car, he makes a mysterious phone call, asking about a kid named Hisu and his mother. A new plot thread just unraveled. And it turns out, he's reporting to a woman on the other end of the line. He informs her that Gammon caught a White Lead gang member and that his new study group might actually be the catalyst for change this rotten school needs. It seems our boy has some powerful, unseen allies. But just as things seem to be looking up, reality hits hard. Back at school, our boy gets tied up and tossed into the hallway like a sack of potatoes. Everyone is shocked. What the hell is going on? Even tied up, Gammon is cool as a cucumber, telling them he was just trying to study. The sheer nerve of this guy. Meanwhile, the masterminds behind this little ambush seem to be having a heated discussion. At the same time, over at the Incheon Police Department, things are just as chaotic. The detectives are swamped with cases related to the White Lead gang, and one detective, Gwanghai Park, is clearly fed up with Yusung Hai's problems. Their night takes a dark turn when they discover a young man tied to a bed, leading to a look of pure shock on Park's face. Cutting back to the streets, another fight is just wrapping up. A couple of guys are making a run for it, complaining about leaving some dude named Gunyao Park behind. The underworld connected to this school is way bigger than we thought. And what were they fighting over? This, Hamill's blacklist of opponents. It's a list that rates fighters, and get this, it even has a picture of an Incheon police detective on it. This isn't just high school drama anymore. This is a direct challenge to the law. Everyone's on edge, wondering who this Hamill guy is and what his blacklist means. To make things even more confusing, someone mentions that a gray-haired jerk actually saved someone's life. The lines between good and bad are getting seriously blurred. Inside a hideout, the paranoia is thick. They're interrogating someone, convinced there's a spy in their midst. And then, a bombshell drops. One of their own used to be a cop. A painful flashback reveals why he quit. He witnessed a kid get stabbed and was powerless to stop it. The look of pure hatred in that child's eyes became a memory he could never escape, the moment that made him turn his back on the force. Back in the present, this gray-haired ex-cop confronts the blonde kid he just saved. He's limping, clearly injured himself. But the kid wants nothing to do with him, his past trauma making him deeply distrustful of anyone associated with the police. All right, after all that heavy drama, let's lighten the mood. The study group chat is officially live. The banter is already top tier as they poke fun at Red Pepper Paste for not joining yet. Look at Gammon's reaction to the notifications, pure gold. The dynamic of the group is really starting to solidify. They're friends, but they're also rivals, pushing each other to be better. It's that classic shonen mix of camaraderie and competition, and we're here for it. But Gammon's actions aren't going unnoticed. A mysterious silver-haired guy is watching from the sidelines, amused by the chaos. He seems to be enjoying the idea that this school for future criminals might actually become a place for studying. Of course, for every person who wants change, there's someone who profits from the chaos. Our main villain finally steps out of the shadows, vowing to keep Yusung High the crappiest school of this generation. And his new plan seems to revolve around this girl, Hankyong Lee. The next day, it's back to the daily grind for our boy Gammon. He's rushing to school, juggling study schedules in the group chat, and dealing with penalty fees. Being the leader of a study group full of delinquents is a full-time job. He can't even get through the school gates without the student council trying to pull a power trip on him over the uniform code. Just when it seems he's stuck, a hero arrives. It's Han Lee, the girl from the photo, and she shuts them down with cold, hard fact from the rulebook. Turns out, she's Ms. Lee, and she is not having any of their nonsense. Look at her, literally shielding our boy from the bullies. We love a queen who protects her students. This is the kind of support Gammon needs. And she's not just smart, she's a total badass. She casually tells Gammon how she got stabbed a few days ago while catching a white lead gangster who was recruiting on campus. Then she pats his head like an encouraging aunt. The duality of this woman is incredible. Ms. Lee tries to get official support for the study group, but the other teacher is shocked that any student here actually wants to study. The real drama starts, however, when she shows him something that makes him completely lose his cool. The faculty politics in this school are a minefield, and it seems the principal himself is freaking out about Ms. Lee's hiring. He's one of the people who wants the school to stay a cesspool, and she's a massive wrench in his plans. He is absolutely losing his mind. The faculty is a complete mess. The principal is having a meltdown. Another teacher is screaming about expelling students. Seeing this chaos, Ms. Lee decides to go over their heads and seek help from the Educational Research Department. This woman plays chess, not checkers. Back in the classroom, Gammon's reputation precedes him. He's the top fighter who acts like a total nerd. This contradiction makes him an outcast, and the other members of his study group are feeling the social pressure of being associated with him. And right on cue, a fight breaks out in class. Meanwhile, Ms. Lee is making a bold play in the vice principal's office. She wants to use a trial committee to take down Hanwha Pai, and her leverage is the potential success of the study group. She's betting it all on our boys. The war for Yusung High is being fought on two fronts. In the offices, it's a battle of wits and politics. In the hallways, it's a battle of fists and fury. The contrast shows just how broken this entire system is. Just when you think the study group can't get any more stacked, in walks this guy. A purple-haired dude who is literally ranked #1 on the freshman fighter totem pole. My man Gammon is basically assembling the Avengers of this school, and you can just feel the energy between them. The #1 fighter is ready to show what he can do, and Gammon clenches his fist, ready for the challenges ahead. This isn't just a study group anymore. It's a movement. But with great power comes great trouble. This dude, Hyunu, shows up to challenge Gammon, trying to label him as the top fighter. Gammon sticks to his "I'm just a model student" script, but the guy crosses a line when he starts spreading nasty rumors about Jaiwoo. A teacher breaks up the fight before it gets too serious, but the damage is done. And amidst all this physical conflict, a different kind of battle is looming on the horizon: midterms. For the study group, this is the real final boss. It's time for the first official meeting of the study group, and the vibes are interesting. The other members have literally started a betting pool on Gammon finishing in last place. Our boy is internally screaming, but has to maintain his composure as the leader. The struggle is hilarious. Gammon makes a bold declaration. He's going to get first place on the midterms, no matter what. And Ms. Lee reveals her master plan. If the study group can produce a top student, she can use that as leverage to start a trial against Hanwha Pai. Suddenly, studying has some very high stakes. But first, a reality check. To get them grounded, Ms. Lee whips out their previous test scores for everyone to see. The immediate panic is both relatable and hilarious. They've got a long way to go. The results are in, and it's a public execution. June gets a solid 94 and is loving it. Hee-won gets a 56 and is devastated. And our boy Gammon, an average of 8. My man's glasses literally shatter from the shock. The disrespect from his classmates is absolutely brutal. Just when all hope seems lost, a dark horse emerges. Spiky Head, the quiet one, is actually ranked 3rd in the entire school. He's the real deal. The secret weapon the study group needs to actually pull this off. The fangirling is real. Ms. Lee lays out the harsh reality. Going from an 8 to #1 in 20 days is basically a miracle. But look at Gammon's clenched fist and the fire in his eyes. He believes he can do it. For him, results are everything, and he's ready to create his own miracle. As the school day ends, Ms. Lee watches her students leave, her expression a mix of hope and worry. She's taught them everything she can. Now it's up to them to put in the work. It's that classic teacher moment of letting go and trusting the process. Then we get a really touching moment. Spiky Head, their academic ace, reveals that his family doesn't support his dream to study. Without hesitation, Gammon steps up like a true leader and says, "Don't worry about anything else. Just focus on studying. We got your back." This is what teamwork is all about. and we see just how tough his situation is. His dad is constantly calling him to work at a construction site, completely dismissing his academic ambitions. He's desperately trying to prove himself with his third-place ranking, but the family pressure is immense. Meanwhile, Gammon is facing his own battles. He gets cornered by another group of bullies who mock his dream of getting into college through special admission. In this school, simply having a dream makes you a target. If you want to study, you have to be ready to fight for it. The taunts get personal. They claim Gammon is nothing without the principal's backing, trying to undermine his strength. The tension is palpable, and you just know a fight is about to break out. And this isn't just a boys' fight club. The girls from the study group are getting into it too, fighting back against the bullies. Everyone is putting it all on the line to protect their friends and their right to study. After the dust settles, Gammon walks Cian home. We get a bit of shipper fuel as Jiwi yells from a distance, teasing him not to hit on her. Our boy gets all flustered and awkward. It's a cute, sweet moment after all the violence. During their walk, they have a heart-to-heart. Cian admits he feels like a sidekick, just explaining things from the sidelines. But Gammon reassures him, reminding him of his own badass moment when he threw a computer out the window. It's a great scene of mutual respect and budding friendship. Their conversation triggers a flashback to just how brutal the bullying in this school is. A kid gets targeted simply because his shoes are popular on social media. It's a raw depiction of the dog-eat-dog world they live in. The bully doesn't just want his shoes, he wants to break his spirit. He taunts him for being bad at studying and even threatens to take his girlfriend. That's the final straw, and the kid just snaps, exploding with rage. The ensuing fight is raw and desperate. In Yusung High, dignity is something you have to defend with your fists. Every punch is fueled by frustration and anger. Unfortunately, rage isn't always enough. He's quickly overpowered, and the bully rubs it in, taunting him for being weaker while his girlfriend is dragged away. It's a scene of pure helplessness. But just as despair sets in, our boy Gammon arrives on the scene, and he doesn't throw a single punch. Instead, he challenges the head bully to a flicking game, and then rock, paper, scissors. This is his signature move, de-escalating with sheer, unadulterated weirdness. And of course, Gammon wins. He completely humiliates the bully, not by beating him up, but by outsmarting him in a childish game. He flips the script with a final, savage question. Who's the real loser here? A total mic drop moment. He won the fight without even starting one. Just after Gammon's big-brain victory with kids' games, the story slams the accelerator. We get a rapid-fire montage, a gamer girl in shock, a sniper scope locking on, and another brutal schoolyard beatdown. It looks like our boy just put out one fire, but a whole new storm is already brewing. Back in the hallways, Gammon's luck has run out. He's caught in another confrontation, and instead of helping, everyone's got their phones out, ready to film. The long-haired punk is trying to frame him, painting our boy as the bully. Seeing the tables turn, Gammon just goes for it and lands a solid kick. Well, so much for de-escalation. And that one kick sends things spiraling out of control. The phone goes flying, screen shattering on the floor. That's it, the point of no return. The bullies are absolutely furious now. You can mess with a lot of things, but you do not mess with a man's phone. Just as a full-blown brawl is about to break out, one of the school's top dogs, Teo Kong, steps in. He just casually grabs the guy causing trouble, and you can feel the pressure through the screen. The loudmouth punk immediately deflates, realizing, oh crap, the rumors were true. This dude's the real deal. Completely intimidated by the top dog, the instigator makes a run for it, shouting threats over his shoulder about getting Gammon expelled. Typical. When you can't win the fight, you snitch. But hey, at least his retreat gets our boy out of a tight spot for now. But then, the story cuts away and gives us a glimpse into this guy's life. It flashes back to a scene where he gets slapped clean across the face by his own father. Turns out, the loudmouth bully is just another kid struggling under the weight of family pressure. The argument is brutal, all about money and debt. You can see the father's helpless rage clashing with his son's desperate screams. Suddenly, this character isn't just a one-dimensional bully anymore. His aggression at school is clearly a front for the misery he faces at home. The family drama is just heartbreaking. It's a vicious cycle of accusations and defiance. Every family has its problems, but this kid's problems look like they're about to crush him entirely. Back in the present, Gammon sees how dejected the guy is and actually shows concern, asking if he wants to run away from home. That's our boy for you. Even to an antagonist, he can't help but be kind. A rare quality in a school this savage. But Gammon's kindness can't stop what's already in motion. Meanwhile, the bully he humiliated with rock, paper, scissors is plotting his revenge. He's got his minions trying to find Gammon's home address. A much bigger threat is closing in, and our boy has no idea. Later that night, Gammon's just trying to get some homework done when his sister bursts in, immediately starting trouble and making fun of the one mark on his forehead. Typical sibling stuff. But the bickering is interrupted by a phone call from an unexpected person, Minwon. And who is Minwon? Oh, just the son of the leader of the White League gang. A literal gangster prince. Right now, he's chilling, smoking, and scheming with some silver-haired dude. His introduction means the stakes are about to be raised from high school scuffles to full-on gang warfare. And guess who their target is? Our boy Gammon. That text message, "Get me Gammon's address," pops up again. It's official. The gangster prince has sent his crew, and they're coming for our hero. The storm is about to hit. Back on the streets, Gammon is hanging out with Cian, the bully from earlier. It seems they've called a truce, and Gammon even offers to pay for his taxi home. But this moment of peace is shattered by an angry shout from off-screen. It's Cian's father. Confronted by him, Cian shrinks back into that lonely, helpless kid. He tells Gammon they're from different worlds, that he wouldn't understand. But Gammon, bless his heart, gets choked up and says that's what friends are for, to help each other out. A genuinely touching moment between these two. After Cian leaves, Gammon checks his phone and his heart drops. 25 minutes until his 10 p.m. curfew. His mom's threat was clear: be late and you're getting transferred. He knows he's in deep trouble, but as the clock strikes 10, it's official. He's screwed. Now effectively homeless for the night, Gammon wanders the streets with nowhere to go. And just when he thinks it can't get worse, he runs into the last person he wants to see, his dad. Instead of compassion, he gets a face full of sarcasm. This family is just broken. Meanwhile, back at school, the hunt for Gammon is on. A rival crew is panicking because they lost him. Gammon's worried they'll trash his house, but before he can even process that, he's ambushed from behind and slammed to the ground. In another part of town, Minhwan's blonde-haired goon has cornered another student in an alley, demanding to know Gammon's address. The poor kid makes a break for it, and a terrifying chase through the dark alleyways begins. But the alley is a total maze, and the bully quickly gets lost. Just as he's cursing his luck, a much tougher-looking guy appears, and the bully knows he's in trouble. Turns out, the kid he was chasing wasn't running away. He was leading him into a trap. We see a flashback revealing this student has been bullied by the same crew all day long. This isn't just a random encounter. It's payback. The look in his eyes says it all. This is personal. Cutting back to Gammon, his ambusher is none other than the guy he faced off against earlier. He gets right in Gammon's face, taunting him. "What's with that look? You think you can take me?" All while Gammon is still awkwardly holding his phone, mid-call. And who's on the other end of that call? The study group's resident genius. He starts giving Gammon real-time fight instructions over the phone. Put your right foot and right fist out. This is insane. It's not a fight. It's a real-life fighting game with a remote coach. We see the strategist in a taxi, turning back from his ride home just to help our boy. He looks at Gammon's failed test paper, a reminder of what this is all for. This is true friendship, people. He's all in. A quick flashback shows us that our brilliant strategist has been in this exact situation before, hunted and chased by bullies. He knows what that helplessness feels like, which is exactly why he's so determined to help Gammon now. Over the phone, the strategist is calmly breaking down the opponent's weaknesses, a true master of analysis. He declares the bully has zero chance of winning. Gammon is sweating bullets, but hearing his friend's confident voice is giving him the courage he needs. "Don't talk back, just listen to me." And the fight is on. Gammon moves like a puppet on a string, following every single command from the phone. Dodge, move, sidestep. The bully can't land a single hit. Pretend there's a wall on your left. Now, break that wall with all your might. Gammon follows the bizarre instruction, throws a punch at nothing, and perfectly blocks the bully's incoming fist. The attacker is stunned. What the? How'd he block that? An absolutely epic moment. Gammon himself is amazed. He realizes his friend isn't telling him to kick or punch, just giving simple orders like turn left or duck. And it's working. But just as he's getting the hang of it, his MOM calls. "Are you kidding me? The timing could not be worse." Luckily, our strategist knows more than just fight choreography. He knows psychological warfare. He tells Gammon exactly what to say to provoke the bully, to make him angry and reckless. And it works like a charm. The bully is completely enraged, his attacks getting sloppy. Mind games for the win. The bully is completely unhinged now, chasing Gammon relentlessly, but whiffing every single time. The frustration is palpable. He just can't land a hit, and it's driving him absolutely insane. His spirit is breaking. The strategist knows he can't teach complex moves over the phone, so he gives the simplest, most brutal command he can think of: a headbutt. It's not pretty, but damn, is it effective. A solid, No frills headbutt in the rain brings the fight to a decisive end. The fight is over, and both guys are exhausted. But this small victory feels huge. It's like getting just one question right on a failed test. It's a sign of hope. It proves that as long as they don't give up, they have a chance. Little do they know, a much larger, more monstrous threat is looming in the shadows. After the battle, our strategist and Gammon finally meet up. He tosses Gammon a drink, asking him how it feels to win. It's a real bonding moment, which is immediately ruined by their teacher, Ms. Lee, showing up out of nowhere. Busted. They instantly bow in apology. But an even bigger problem arrives. Gammon's mom appears, and she is furious. She emotionally confronts him, bringing up the divorce and demanding he quit the study group immediately. The weight of his family problems comes crashing back down on him. After that explosive encounter with his mom, Gammon is completely devastated. He regrets ever meeting up with his friends, feeling like he's just causing trouble for everyone. His mom's words, "You think I divorced your dad to see you like this?" are echoing in his mind, cutting him deep. The study group friends try to do some damage control with Gammon's mom, hilariously trying to impress her by saying her son is friends with the top student in school, only to be corrected that he's actually third. Awkward, but you can't fault them for trying. The crew heads over to the strategist's house, and they are floored. Turns out the brainiac is also rich. While they're admiring his amazing apartment, they also come to a chilling realization. Gammon's mom is way more intense and formidable than they ever imagined. The strategist pulls Gammon aside and tells him straight up, his mom isn't bluffing. He lists off several examples of her insane, hardcore personality, proving that she absolutely does what she says she'll do. Gammon's heart sinks. The transfer is really happening. Gammon flashes back to when his parents got divorced. His mom was so gentle back then, telling him that studying isn't everything and it was okay if his grades weren't perfect. The contrast between that supportive mother and the uncompromising woman forcing him to transfer now is just devastating. He remembers begging his mom to let him attend Yusong, promising he'd obey curfew and study hard. He fought for this chance, and now it's all being ripped away. The moment his sister barges in with a list of potential transfer schools is the moment his dream dies. News of the transfer spreads like wildfire through the study group, and everyone panics. They sneak up to the principal's office and see the worst. Gammon and his mom are inside, actually going through with the paperwork. The mood is grim. This is really happening. Refusing to give up, his friends make a last-ditch effort. They burst into the office and argue with the teacher, claiming Gammon is an invaluable asset to the school and they can't afford to lose him. It's a long shot, but you have to admire their loyalty. And somehow, it actually works. Their desperate plea manages to stall the process. But Gammon's sister isn't playing games. She's outside with a taxi, ready to force the issue and get her mom and brother out of there. The battle isn't over yet. Amidst the chaos, we flash back to where it all began. His former tutor, now his teacher, Ms. Lee, was horrified when he announced he wanted to go to Yusong, the school for future criminals. But even back then, Gammon was resolute in his dream of going to college. And the school is even more chaotic than anyone could have imagined. Fights break out constantly, and it's this violent environment that has solidified his mom's decision. She's determined to get him out, no matter what. Even Ms. Lee was terrified on her first day. She got knocked to the ground in the middle of a hallway brawl. And it was Gammon who helped her up, a small act of kindness in a sea of chaos. Perhaps that was the moment their bond was forged. Back in the present, Gammon's mom delivers the final blow. We're moving. Tomorrow, our boy is stunned into silence. As the news reaches Ms. Lee and the rest of the group, a wave of shock and helplessness washes over them. The school descends into chaos as everyone frantically searches for Gammon. And right on cue, the gangster Prince Manhwa makes his grand entrance, dramatically vaulting the school fence. His arrival signals that things are about to get a whole lot more complicated. Outside, Gammon's mom has the car waiting, ready to pull him out of school for good. She tries a gentle approach, but for the first time, Gammon stands his ground. He screams that he has to go to college, that it's his only way out. He knows his mom regrets letting him come here. He knows he's been a handful, but he can't give up now. Not when Ms. Lee just gave him the secret strategy to ace the midterms. He refuses to transfer, not when his dream is finally within reach. The study group members are running around the school, desperate to find Gammon. They refuse to believe he would just leave. They know how much this means to him, how badly he wants to go to college. Their faith in him is the only thing driving them forward. Even if there's no way, we'll just have to make one. Out of desperation, a new resolve is born. The group rallies together, determined to help Gammon stay, no matter the odds. This is the power of friendship. Mission: Save Gammon Yoon is officially a go. Ms. Lee gets behind the wheel, and the entire study group piles in for a high-speed chase. Their strategy is simple. If his mom won't listen to reason, they'll just have to fight fire with fire. At the same time, Minwan and his biker gang are also en route, declaring their intention to get Yusung Hai back in order. Two different crews, two different missions, all converging on the same location. A massive storm is about to break, and the shady figure pulling the strings thinks he's already won, that getting Gammon transferred solves all his problems. But he is seriously underestimating these kids and the bond they share. The real show is just about to begin. All right, Operation Save Gammon is a go. But hold up, what's with the vibe in here? Just look at Ms. Lee's face. She's gripping that steering wheel for dear life. Total novice driver alert. The kids in the back are trying to hype her up while secretly praying they make it out alive. This fast and furious mission might turn into Final Destination real quick. Okay, kidding aside, they're dead serious. Gammon's not picking up, and his mom's phone is unreachable. It's crunch time. Their only lead is the real estate agency where his mom signed the papers. GPS is locked and loaded. Thank God there's only one with that name in the city. Look at the determination in their eyes. They're getting their boy back, no matter what. Meanwhile, in the other car, the mood is icy. Gammon's mom is going on and on about how this move is for the best, laying out her grand plans. Then she drops the bomb. Why do you even need college? Look at me. I'm doing just fine with a high school diploma. Oof. You can just feel Gammon's spirit getting crushed with every word. Our boy just sits there, taking it all in silence. Just as Gammon is checking his phone, probably seeing all the missed calls from his friends, chaos erupts. His mom suddenly screams behind the wheel. And just as we suspected, the other crew has arrived. It's Min Wan and his biker gang, and they are here to cause trouble. And they are not here to play nice. They immediately start swerving and harassing the car. And then BM, a helmet smashes right into the window. The blonde girl in the back is terrified. Things just went from 0 to 100 real quick. And there it is. Ms. Lee's car goes flying and flips over in a spectacular crash. The study group inside is completely stunned. Outside, the thugs who caused this are pissed, while the biker gang looks on, surrounding the wreckage. This is bad. Really bad. While all that chaos is happening on the road, let's jump back to Yusung Hai, where things are just as heated. The news of Gammon's transfer is spreading like wildfire. And our fiery redhead, Jun Lee, is not having it. He's confronting the guys responsible, and you can feel the tension crackling. He's ready to throw down for his friend. This whole situation is a wake-up call for Teo Kong, reminding him of his defeat and fueling his desire to get stronger. Meanwhile, Jun is getting taunted by his rival, who mocks him for using dirty tricks. The air is thick with hostility, and you just know a fight is about to break out. And here comes the flashback. Turns out, after getting his butt kicked by Gammon, Jun actually went to him for training. Gammon offers to teach him Uncle's forbidden tactics, which sound both ridiculous and awesome. Faced with a list of legendary moves, which one will Jun choose? No surprise there. He picks the most badass-sounding one on the list. And we snap back to the present. Look at that fire in Jun's eyes. His power level is off the charts. He's about to unleash his newly learned ultimate move on this unsuspecting fool. Here he comes. Jun charges forward, screaming, "Make way!" He's going all out, and the sheer force of his presence stuns the onlookers. One of the girls even screams his nickname, Red Pepper Paste. Wait, is that seriously his nickname? LMAO. But his cool entrance lasts all of 3 seconds. He got so hyped up that he completely missed his jump timing and face plants. His opponent doesn't miss a beat, landing a solid punch. To add insult to injury, he brings up the rankings, mocking Jun for being a lowly number 17. That's gotta sting. The tables have turned completely. Jun is getting absolutely pummeled, and the trash talk is relentless. The girls in the car are freaking out. Is this it? Is the ultimate move he just learned going to fizzle out before he even gets to use it? Teo is still laying into him, giving him no room to breathe. He tries to intervene, but Jun stops her, saying calling the cops would take too long. He's got this. As Teo taunts him, claiming he's not worthy, Jun just smiles. Oh, he's got something up his sleeve. Seeing that confident smirk, it's Teo's turn to be confused. "Why the hell are you laughing?" he yells. This unexpected reaction throws everyone off. It's the calm before the storm. And in a flash, Jun flips the script. He launches a powerful kick, sending one of the goons flying. At the same time, the fight inside the car kicks off, and Hee-won gets sucker punched. The situation is critical on all fronts. Inside the car, the study group is trapped. One of the thugs threatens to smash the windows, but their leader seems completely unfazed. Hee-won covers her ears, terrified, as the helmeted goon makes his move. Meanwhile, the guys pulling the strings are discussing their grand plan. Turns out, they were planning on recruiting new members for their White Lee gang from Yusung High, but Ms. Lee's interference is starting to crack their ironclad system. Yusung's iron-like system, which even the teachers couldn't penetrate, is finally starting to show cracks thanks to one teacher and her study group. The scene cuts to a pool table, and as the ball is struck with violent force, we see a face filled with rage. A much bigger storm is brewing. Back on the highway, Gammon's mom swerves in panic and crashes into the guardrail, sending Gammon flying out of the car. These biker thugs are completely out of control. But you think it's over? You sweet summer child. You don't know the power of our godly teacher, Ms. Lee. Crashing into the guardrail wasn't a mistake. It was a tactic. She uses the impact to drift the car around, taking out the entire biker squad in one clean sweep. That's how it's done. After the epic crash, the study group gets out, ready for a direct confrontation. They decide to split up. One team will go after Gammon, while the other stays behind to hold off Teo Kong. Look at their expressions, pure resolve. They're putting it all on the line for their friend. Jun and Teo, the ones who stayed behind, begin their fated showdown. Even though Teo is landing heavy hits, Jun refuses to back down, spitting defiant words. This isn't just a fight, it's a battle for pride. If you keep acting so cocky, I think I can handle this much responsibility. Jun is completely fired up now, launching a furious counterattack. The two trade blows, a brutal back and forth. The fight has reached its boiling point. Teo, using his signature kicks, sends Jun flying. He taunts him, reminding him that he's keeping his promise to only use his feet. Jun is down, looking battered, but the fighting spirit in his eyes hasn't faded one bit. Another flashback. In a hellhole like Yusung, a studious kid like Gammon is an outcast, constantly ridiculed. We see a past version of Jun, frustrated and blaming himself for being weak. It was Gammon's arrival that gave him a chance to change. So, the reason Jun wanted to get stronger was because he realized his weakness. He barely used his legs. Gammon, being the observant guy he is, noticed this and offered to train him, inviting him over for a special session the next morning. And thus, their bromance leveled up. The special training? None other than Uncle's forbidden tactic number 6, the Dragon Kick of Fury. Gammon demonstrates the move, and the sheer power makes the entire tree shake. Jun is completely blown away and decides right then and there, this is the move he needs to learn. The reason Jun is so obsessed with the words Fury and Dragon is because they remind him of a childhood friend who used to protect him. That friend always wondered why he was so weak, and that feeling of frustration and the burning desire to become stronger became deeply ingrained in Jun's heart. Gammon totally gets it. Jun wants to get strong to repay his friend's trust, just like how Gammon studies hard to achieve his own goals. He agrees to teach him the Dragon Kick of Fury and begins guiding him through the grueling practice. Back in the present, Jun is down but not out. His friends have arrived as backup. Seeing them fight for him ignites a fire inside him. He slowly gets back on his feet, his eyes burning with a newfound determination. You can be the dragon of Incheon City. These were the words his friend once told him. And those words act like a switch, fully unleashing Jun's fighting spirit. He's about to prove he is anything but weak. Here it is, the Dragon Kick of Fury. A phantom red dragon coils around him as Jun unleashes the full power of his kick, aiming it straight at Teo Kong. This single blow is about to shake the very ground they stand on. The kick is so powerful it sends Teo and his entire crew flying off the side of the hill. And right down on the road below, Gammon's mom comes face to face with none other than Ms. Lee. Oh boy, the two most important women in his life have finally met. This is going to be dramatic. The study group is still in hot pursuit, and inside Gammon's mom's car, the tension is mounting. She seems to have a gut feeling about the car chasing them. A full-blown highway chase is about to unfold. The two cars finally stop, and Ms. Lee and Gammon's mom meet formally. The rest of the study group gets out too, ready to face his mom's questions with unwavering resolve. Meanwhile, Teo Kong, the guy who got knocked out by the Dragon Kick, finally comes to. He can't believe it. He, the number 1 fighter at Yusung, lost to Jun Lee, ranked a measly 17th. The humiliation is unbearable, and he swears he's going to find that bastard Jun Lee and demand answers. And where is our hero, Jun Lee? Oh, he's currently getting jumped by a bunch of thugs who are sadistically discussing the best way to humiliate him. But just as they're about to go too far, a figure drops in from above. It's Manhwa. Even with a gash on his forehead, his combat skills are off the charts. He makes short work of these small fry thugs. The unspoken rule of Yusung High. Only we get to mess with our own. With the enemies dispatched, Minwon and June, former rivals, now stand together. It seems this chaotic battle has forged a strange kind of camaraderie between them. After a brief exchange, Minwon hops on his bike and rides off like a total badass. Cut to the Board of Education, where a mysterious old man learns about Ms. Lee's actions. His expression is intriguing. It looks like her petition has shaken things up at the highest level, and the plot is getting thicker. Back at a cafe, Ms. Lee and Gammon's mom finally sit down to talk. And get this twist. Ms. Lee isn't just Gammon's homeroom teacher. She's the new homeroom teacher. The dramatic coincidence leaves everyone stunned. Can they possibly convince his mom to change her mind? The study group members join the conversation, explaining how much Gammon has done for them and sharing their collective dream. Faced with such sincere kids, it looks like Gammon's mom might actually be starting to waver. But Gammon's mom remains firm. She believes Yu-sung is too dangerous for her son. Hee-won, our fiery blonde, can't hold back anymore and confronts her directly, escalating the tension in the room. In the end, it's Ms. Lee's words that finally break through. She confesses that she came to this school specifically to change it, and that it was Gammon and his study group who gave her the courage to do so. This heartfelt confession leaves Gammon's mom deep in thought. Just when it seems like they're making progress, a new crisis arrives. A gang from another high school shows up, outnumbering them and surrounding the study group, clearly looking for a fight. And these guys are brutal, beating their opponents until they're begging for mercy. It seems they're prospective members of the White Lee gang, and this is their twisted version of an initiation test. Meanwhile, the young master of the White Lee gang, a sophisticated-looking white-haired boy named Hanwol, is having a secret meeting in a park. On the surface, he seems to be following his father's orders, but deep down, he harbors much greater ambitions. His father wants him to study hard, go to college, and live a normal life. But for Hanwol, who grew up surrounded by darkness, his path was sealed from the moment he was born. He plans to use the path his father laid out for him to build his own power, to surpass even his old man. He sends his underlings to stir up chaos at various schools, a show of force to intimidate his future recruits. However, Ms. Lee's actions have thrown a wrench in his plans. The Board of Education is sending an investigation team to Yu-sung, forcing him to freeze all recruitment activities. This has seriously angered the higher-ups in the White League gang. Minwon uses the dirt he has on the principal to keep him in line. Meanwhile, Hanwol decides that if he can't recruit in secret, he'll just go big. His new targets, Gammon and Ms. Lee. A massive wave of delinquent from other schools floods into Yu-sung High, throwing the entire campus into chaos. And their target is clear, the girls of the study group. The study group members meet the invaders, but it turns out they're not the primary target. The thugs walk right past them and head straight for Hee-won, their words dripping with menace and harassment. Amid the chaos, a mysterious masked man makes his entrance. He introduces himself as Tae-hwan, and a family member of the White Lead gang, a high school dropout known as Anti. His presence instantly freezes the atmosphere. This Anti-guy is clearly bad news. Gammon recognizes the danger, but he has too many people to protect now. During the tense standoff, disaster strikes. Someone gets hurt and is bleeding badly on the ground. At that very moment, June and Minwon are racing towards the school on their bikes. They got the address from Hee-won and are going full throttle, completely unaware of the catastrophe unfolding on campus. By the time they arrive, the scene is a total disaster zone, with sirens from police cars and ambulances wailing. Ms. Lee and Gammon are gone, leaving only a terrified Hee-won behind. The situation has taken a dark turn, and everyone is now in grave danger. And the mastermind behind it all, the man pulling the strings, watches coldly from a distance. He adjusts his tie, his expression unreadable, as if everything is going exactly according to his plan. The story has just entered its darkest chapter yet. Meanwhile, across town, another storm is brewing. The streets are a mess, and locals are gossiping about a bunch of high schoolers who completely wrecked a cafe. But the real drama involves some familiar faces. Hee-won and June look at him. He's completely losing it, screaming his friend's name. Something serious has definitely gone down here too. So what happened? Let's rewind 30 minutes. Back in the school hallway, Ms. Lee is being cornered by some seriously shady-looking guys. They're trying to intimidate her into coming with them, but she's not having any of it. Cool as a cucumber, she tells them she's in a parent-teacher meeting and they'll just have to wait. The absolute nerve. The tension escalates as another woman steps forward, standing her ground alongside Ms. Lee. And just in the nick of time, Han Kyung arrives. It quickly becomes clear this isn't a friendly visit. These guys are here because of that petition. This is a straight-up warning. The guy in charge knows these kids are just pawns in Hamel Pie's game. The tension is palpable. But then, the scene shifts, flashing back to a conversation between Hank Young and a woman named Younghwa. It's a much calmer, almost nostalgic moment. And the flashback continues, this time with a lighter tone. Hank Young whips out an embarrassing old photo of Younghwa zoning out during an exam, and the teasing is relentless. Look at her reaction. She's totally flustered. Classic best friend behavior. Their conversation gets deeper. Younghwa opens up about her current teaching job at the notorious Yusung Technical High. You can hear the exhaustion in her voice, but there's a fire in her eyes. She's frustrated, but absolutely determined to make a difference. The nostalgia trip is in full swing. Ms. O is completely floored, reminiscing about a time Hank Young apparently came to school for 3 days straight without showering. Now that's dedication. They chat about tutoring and gammon, just two friends catching up, completely unaware of the tragedy about to unfold. They part ways with jokes and promises to meet up after exams. But then, a chilling voiceover hits us. I didn't know that would be the last time I saw her. The mood plummets as we cut to a memorial. The gentle Ms. O is gone. The devastating truth is confirmed by a news report. Ms. O's death was ruled a random stabbing. We see a broken Hank Young, vowing to carry on her friend's dream for Yusung. And just like that, we snap back to the present, where the hallway confrontation has escalated. One of the thugs actually dares to lay a hand on Ms. Lee. And boom, before anyone can even blink, a vicious kick connects squarely with the guy's face, sending him flying. No more talk. The fight is officially on. The entire hallway is stunned into silence. All the students are just staring in awe like, who I asked this woman? And her response? I'm a student's mother. The absolute power move. The moms at this school are just built different. And get this, it's Gammon's mom. Not only that, she's the director of the Korean Taekwondo Association. The plot thickens. She even knows Ms. Lee personally, revealing that Ms. Lee was a student of her late friend, Ms. O. Everything is connected, and you can see Ms. Lee is completely floored by this revelation. But of course, there's always one. Another dad starts complaining about his son being exposed to violence. Seriously, dude? Read the room. Gammon's mom, however, is unfazed. She steps forward, an icy glare on her face, and declares, "It looks like I need to teach you children a lesson." Oh, it is on. Our boy Gammon is watching all this unfold, a mix of fear and awe on his face. He knows how dangerous these guys are and tries to warn his mom to stay out of it. But she just gives him a look that says, "Don't worry, I got this." These punks have no idea who they're messing with. Meanwhile, some of Hamel Pie's goons are starting to get cold feet, feeling like this whole operation has crossed a line. But the higher-ups don't care. Their new target is Chang Yi-Huang, and they're playing dirty, looking up pictures of his little sister with the creepiest smile. This is low even for them. These morons actually think that all they need to do is rough up one teacher and they'll be golden, bragging about how the white lead gang has their back. They're so clueless about the world of hurt that's coming their way. The battle lines are drawn, and the fight begins. Gammon's mom unleashes a powerful kick, sending a thug flying. At the same time, another member of the study group, Jaiwa Lee, the girl who dreams of being a teacher and hates fighting, is forced into the fray. With a wave of goons rushing her, she has no choice but to defend herself. Seeing his friends and his own mother in danger, something inside our boy Gammon finally snaps. He's done cowering. Until when will I keep doing this? He thinks, at this rate, I'll do nothing but lose. In that moment, you can see the look in his eyes completely change. His mind flashes back to why he started the study group in the first place, to create a safe space for his friends to learn and grow. Sahayan, the hot-tempered but kind genius. He-won, the loyal friend. June, the hard worker. These are the people he fights for. And seeing Sahayan get hit is the last straw. Gammon is about to go off. It's because of this study group, because of these friends, that his grades jumped 30 points, finally giving his parents hope. He even brought them home to study. He fought so hard to build this little slice of peace, and he's not about to let anyone destroy it. Meanwhile, Jaiwoo is holding her own, and then some. While casually complaining that she should have cut up some fruit for her friends, she absolutely demolishes a guy twice her size. Your body's so huge, but your punches are weaker than Hyena Lee's. The trash talk is legendary, but in the chaos, disaster strikes. Hank Young is attacked from behind. It's a terrifying moment, and her companion urges her to stay calm while trying to call the police. But they both know a phone call won't be enough to stop these psychos. It's clear this was a coordinated attack, and Hank Young was the primary target. As one of the thugs raises a flower pot to smash her head in, someone rushes to protect her at the last possible second. It's Gammon's mom. She shoves Han-kyung out of the way, but takes the hit herself. Glass shatters, and blood starts pouring from a wound on her head. Gammon is frozen in shock, his glasses falling to the floor. The scene descends into panic as everyone scrambles to call an ambulance. Back in the present, Jun and Hee-won are getting the full story of what happened. Jun is overwhelmed with regret, blaming himself for not being there to protect everyone. This all happened because those bastards crossed a line they never should have. And on another side of town, Gammon, having witnessed his mother's injury, has completely snapped. He's gone feral, hunting down the perpetrators with a murderous look in his eyes. People on the street are stunned. Is this really the same nerdy kid they know? There's no stopping a rampaging Gammon. He storms right into the enemy's den, unleashing a spectacular flip kick that clears a path instantly. Anyone who dares to stand in his way is getting taken down. He marches straight up to one of the leaders, completely ignoring his taunts. "You were rude to me last time," Gammon says, his voice dangerously low, and it was unsettling. "If you cross the line again, I don't care if you're Hamel Pie's successor. I will." He doesn't even need to finish the sentence. The raw killing intent says it all. But instead of backing down, the guy takes Gammon's threat as a personal insult and completely loses it. The rage on his face is terrifying. A brutal fight is about to break out. Sirens wail as Gammon's mom is rushed away in an ambulance. In the car, Gammon stares at her head injury, his face a mask of shock and guilt. He swears in that moment that he will make the people who did this pay. We learn that Han-kyung was actually a student of Gammon's mom. The first time she met Gammon at Yusung High, she felt a duty to her former teacher to help him escape that hellhole of a school. She never imagined things would get this violent. Back at school, news of the attack has spread like wildfire. The students are all talking about it, shocked and worried. They know Ms. Lee was trying to change the school by petitioning the Board of Education, but everyone agrees that trying to fix Yusung High is a fool's errand. Gammon's path of revenge leads him to his first major obstacle. This guy is built like a tank and clearly a serious fighter, backed by someone named Sanjin Bang. And he's been waiting for this. He's heard all about Gammon and is eager to test his skills. The muscle-bound thug attacks without warning, but our boy isn't going down easy. Even when he's caught, there's no panic in his eyes. His friends watch from a distance, terrified, screaming for him to run. Run? Not a chance. Gammon unleashes his uncle's forbidden tactic, the fifth move, and completely turns the tables. Wham! His opponent is stunned, completely unprepared for the explosive power hidden behind those glasses. The fight intensifies. The enemy unleashes a Way of the Dragon, 5 consecutive blows combo, but Gammon counters with his uncle's forbidden tactic, first move. He meets the assault head-on, matching him blow for blow. This isn't just a brawl, it's a battle of martial artists. After a fierce exchange, a victor emerges. Gammon lands a devastating kick, knocking his opponent out cold. The surrounding thugs are in disbelief. Their big shot leader just got one shot by nobody. With that obstacle out of the way, Gammon continues his pursuit of the real culprit, Gunyeb Park. The guy tries to escape in a car, but Gammon launches himself through the air, yanks the driver out of the window, and stops the vehicle cold. This is straight out of an action movie. Faced with this absolute madman, the thugs in the car are freaking out, screaming at him to get lost. But nothing can stop Gammon now. He's on a mission. After a night of chaos, the atmosphere at school the next day is tense. The upperclassmen delinquents are already on the prowl, harassing younger students for dress code violations. It feels like a new storm is about to hit Yusung High. The third-year bosses are gathered, discussing yesterday's incident which apparently made the news. They mention someone called Anti who really stirred things up. Suddenly, a figure rushes into their circle and is immediately sent flying with a single kick. The next morning, the weather forecast warns of a cold snap. As a student walks down the hall, someone calls out, telling him to dress warm. He turns, surprised, completely unaware of what lies ahead. The study group is worried sick. They can't get in touch with Gammon. They finally hear from the hospital that his mom has been admitted. The news hits Hee-won like a ton of bricks, and you can see the guilt written all over her face. Hee-won is spiraling, blaming herself completely. If she hadn't been distracted, the glass wouldn't have broken, and Gammon's mom wouldn't be in the hospital. Yoon tries to comfort her. Since Hee-won is still on the run, she's staying at Jun's place. They're really sticking together through this crisis. Meanwhile, another faction of the school makes their debut, the 3 presidents of the third years. These guys are prospective members of the White Lead gang, and they all look like major trouble. These delinquents are casually discussing joining gangs to make a living, completely out of control. Just then, someone runs up to them, panting, and yells, "Found you." It looks like their target has finally shown up. And who is their target? None other than Hamel Pie himself. One of the blonde guys sees him and immediately gets agitated. You can feel in the air, a massive showdown is about to begin. Turns out, Hamel Pie has been trying to recruit these guys, but they're not interested. They mock him, warning that calling the cops is useless. They believe police alone could never take down Hamel. But Hamel just smirks. He wasn't talking about ordinary police. And before they can react, he moves like lightning, sending one of them flying with a single punch. The power gap is immense. Hamel Pie is well protected. He's got the white lead gang outside school and a legion of loyal followers inside. These third-year presidents stood no chance. They were subdued in an instant. And right on cue, Gammon shows up. After everything that happened yesterday, he still has the guts to charge in. Hamel Pie is actually surprised to see him, a cruel smile playing on his lips. Hamel pats Gammon on the head, condescendingly telling him not to be so eager for revenge. His lackeys then grab our boy. Hamel just watches, and with a chilling smile says, "Gammon, good luck." What the hell is this guy planning? After Hamel leaves, the third-year presidents turn their attention to Gammon. Humiliated by their defeat, they decide to take out their frustration on him, to make him feel their presence and re-establish their authority. Gammon now faces the legendary 3 presidents of Yonsei. He knows these guys are on a completely different level from anyone he's fought before. The most dangerous of them, Sunchul Kim, is the one Hamel wants most. But even against these odds, Gammon roars, "Come at me." The presidents are furious at Gammon's audacity, laughing at the idea that he could take on all 3 of them at once. But our boy is unfazed. The battle is about to begin. Gammon's rage has reached its boiling point. "You're the ones who caused my mom to end up like that," he screams, every punch fueled by the fire of vengeance. He unleashes a new technique, Fist of a Tiger. A spectral tiger materializes behind him, lunging at his enemies with ferocious power. This one punch contains all of his anger and determination. The onlookers are stunned. They can't believe their eyes. One of the legendary presidents was just knocked to the ground by Gammon. How is that even possible? Even Gammon himself is a bit surprised, his heart pounding in his chest. Turns out, Gammon was also the one who took down Sanjin Bang earlier. This revelation shocks the other presidents even more. They witnessed how tough these guys were 3 years ago, and now they're getting beaten one by the same kid. Meanwhile, Gammon's friends aren't just sitting around. They've tracked down the operations leader of the White League gang and started a fight of their own. He won as a total badass, immediately attacking the guy for his disrespectful comments. Sahayan joins the fray as well. Even though they're outnumbered, he uses his sharp intellect and precise strikes to take down multiple opponents, finishing the fight with a decisive kick. Back with Gammon, the remaining presidents are analyzing the situation. They mock him, saying he has no chance of beating all 3 of them. But one of them notices something crucial. Gammon's heart is pounding. He's shaken, and that, he claims, is his greatest weakness. Just then, Jun and Minwon arrive on the scene, eager to show off their newly practiced Jeet Kune Do. These guys always manage to bring some comic relief to the most intense situations. You gotta love him. Gammon admits his heart is racing, but it's because of his rage towards Hamel Pie. He compares his opponents to 3 glasses. The first one is already empty. Now it's time to deal with the second and third. He recalls his uncle's teachings, combining all that knowledge to create his own unique technique. He's no longer just a nerdy kid who takes a beating. Pointing at the remaining 2, he issues his final challenge. "I told you to come to me all at once." Gammon's bold challenge completely throws the blonde leader, Hamel Pie. You can just see him thinking, "Are you for real?" He scoffs, tells his goons to back off, deciding to handle our boy himself. The ego on this guy. He dared to say he'd end the 3 of us in one blow. But while the big boss is busy monologuing, Gammon's backup crew doesn't waste a second. Jun and Minwon dive right into the fray, unleashing a flurry of attacks on the underlings. It's an all-out brawl. And look at them go. They are absolutely cleaning house. Their newly practiced Jeet Kune Do is seriously paying off, sending these thugs flying left and right. This side of the fight is already a done deal. Meanwhile, back at the main event, our boy Gammon pulls the ultimate power move. He hits his opponent not with a fist, but with a vocabulary question. Delusional? The look on Hamel's face is priceless. You can see the gears turning, and then smoke. He remembers the word from a flashcard, but can't recall the meaning, and the sheer frustration sends him into a rage. And it is on. Hamel comes in hot, but our boy is more than ready. Gammon unleashes the Fist of a Tiger. He's not messing around anymore and declares, "Let's end this quick." Hamel is really feeling himself, shouting that he's got Gammon cornered and that victory is his. He's getting way too cocky, but wait, who's that crying out in pain? Doesn't sound like our boy. Plot twist. It's Hamill who's taking the hit. He looks completely baffled, like he can't process what just happened. And Gammon, cool as ever, just warns him this punch is going to hurt. Oh, the chills. Our boy is in his element. But hold on. Just as Gammon is about to land the finisher, the other two bosses jump in to intervene. The eye patch dude yells, "Not so fast. You need to get beat up by us first." They're not about to let their leader go down that easily. So now, it's a 3-on-1, just like you wanted from the start. Gammon finds himself facing down all three presidents of Yunsu at once. This is the real test. Our boy's mind is racing. He was hoping to wrap this all up before morning class. He even considers using some dirty tricks like eye poking, but before he can decide, Hamill is back on his feet and comes in with a massive stomp. And this is the climax. Gammon's Fist of a Tiger clashes with Hamill's ultimate move, the Dragon Kick. A giant freaking dragon aura appears behind him. Turns out this guy is the big boss from Tangshan. It's Tiger versus Dragon in an epic mid-air collision. And the dust settles, with Hamill eating dirt. As Gammon catches his breath, he notices the guy drop something, some study notes, and a phone. Just then, the phone rings. It's an overseas number. Gammon hesitates, then picks up, and the look on his face says it all. He recognizes the voice. Who could it possibly be? The plot thickens.